hatin mawatahele, hatin mawatahele, hatin.
Oh, it's so good to be in this part of the museum. It's the Pacific Northwest, and look, we see a totem. Do you know that totem poles are monuments to represent and commemorate ancestry, histories, and events, and are created by the First Nations of the Pacific Northwest? Most displays are beings of crest animals and mark a family's lineage and privileges. Isn't that a wonderful bit of information? And in just a moment, you're going to hear the story about the totem pole. Deep in the cedar forest stood an ancient totem pole. The carved totem animals long forgotten. Then one night, the full moon rose, and in the light of the moonbeams, the totem sprang to life. The frog kicked his stiffness from his long legs, and the beaver slapped his tail against the water. The eagle swooped out in his stretched wings, and Grizzly scratched himself against a tall tree. Wolf lifted her voice to howl, "Oh!" a joyful sound, and Raven cocked his head and began to chatter. All too soon, a hint of the dawn brushed the day of the sky, and the totems must once again become a pole, because the rising sun would track them. But none of them could remember how they fit, and each one wanted to be on the top. But the real story is the strength comes from the bottom piece. "I'm the largest," said the grizzly as he roared up. And he tried to reach up to the top, but he was so heavy, why the whole totem pole fell over. And then the wolf said, "Well, I'm the fearless one." And he scampered up to the top, but his sharp claws got right into the eagle's neck, and everyone fluttered around and fell down. Then the eagle said, "Why, I have the sharpest eyes." And he flew up, but his feathers tickled the nose of the wolf, and he went, "Achoo!" And they all fell down. "Well, I have felled the tallest of trees," said Beaver, lumbering up the pole. But he wasn't used to sitting so high, and he rolled down, and the others went with him. "Well, who sings the sweetest song?" said the frog, who leapt to the top. And she was dancing around, and she was so happy that she was at the top, and they all fell down too. "There's something that you've forgotten," said the raven, shaking her head. Together, we tell a story of the frog who muddled up the water to hide Beaver from danger, and how the beaver dammed up the stream so that the eagle could have a nice, cool pool of water to fish from, and how the eagle led the grizzly to where all the berries were, and the wolf who also stayed with Grizzly in his cave one quiet night. The totems looked at each other, and they said, yes, they took their storied places. First was the frog, then was the beaver, then the eagle, then the grizzly, then the wolf, and they fit perfectly. And then the raven flapped to the top, and he looked down just as the sunbeams came in and hit the horizon, casting the light onto the pole, which hardened the wood once more, so they could tell the story another day. And I'm going to say ho, and you're going to say hey, because that's the end of the story. Ho! Perfect! You know, I like that story because there was some wisdom there. Not everybody has to be to the top. As a matter of fact, the teaching of the totem is that the person that's on the lowest part of the totem holds the greatest strength. There's something in mind that says the greatest position of all is to be a servant to others, to share with others, to be kind to others, and to be ready to work and help in your community. I hope that you take the teachings of this story and hold on to it in your heart, because stories tell us how to be in the world. Ama!
Atachem tehale, Atachem tehale,